Welcome back to my room. I haven't done a video vlog in a while, let alone filmed here. I think almost an entire year, so still pretty much looks the same, but anyway. I randomly get the desire to vlog, and today it happened to be pretty appropriate because what I want to talk about really doesn't involve that many pictures. I wanted to discuss this book that I just finished reading. It is called The Possibility of You, and it's by Pamela Redmond. It's literally like, I mean, granted we're only in March, but it's my favorite book so far this year. And it's not the same kind of book as The Book Thief, which I think was my favorite of 2011, but it's up there as far as favorite books of all time. I was literally raving about it to all my friends before I even finished it, which says a lot because, yeah, I hadn't finished it. So anyway, let me read you a quote from Geraldine Brooks about the book, and it says, "The Possibility of You is an exploration of love and family, of race and of relationships, complex and compelling and compulsively readable." Now, that is basically all I got out of it because I had been at Barnes & Noble browsing for like an hour, 45 minutes, and the cover really called out to me, and the title. And then I read that and I was like, oh gosh, like love, family, race, relationships, those are such huge themes. I feel like, this is going to be a good book, not to mention she's a New York Times bestselling author. So I purchased it, which I haven't been doing lately. I've been just trying to borrow books from the library because I don't often reread books. And, library books are free. Bookstore books are not so much. So it was a risk to invest in it, but I'm so happy I did. Basically, it is the story of 3 different women at different time periods, and the majority of the book takes place in New York City. So because it's different time periods, it's really cool to read about how New York has been / is, but I live here, so I kind of know how it is. But like it's all very historically accurate. So she threads all these little details. She said she worked on the book for 5 years. And a lot of that, I'm sure, in addition to the characterization, included doing extensive research. So that alone was fascinating. And then I absolutely adored the way she integrated women's health. Now, I don't know where you stand politically, but being that there's been a lot of issues regarding women's health in the recent Republican primaries and debates and such, it was really timely to read about how Planned Parenthood came to be and how at one point the very few clinics that were offering, to be completely frank here, pap smears and birth control and abortions, the doctors were getting arrested and the women that were there were getting arrested. And then even as they became established and legal, the way people understood it as a public varied. And then even just, I guess, the degree to which women's health just wasn't taught is completely astonishing. Let's see, one of them starts in 1916, and then 1976, and then the present. And the first woman in 1916, like, she does not understand what's going on inside herself and as far as sexual health is concerned. And it's very, I think, illuminating to how far we've come, how important these issues are, and yeah, so that. And then the third thing I wanted to say about it is as it discusses racism. In the first story, for instance, they focus on racism towards the Irish and Italians. And that was very, personally touching for me to read because I feel like the time that we're in, as far as my own heritage is concerned, I've experienced, not directly, but been amongst different levels of racism towards my the Hispanic parts of my background, especially the fact that, like my father's Mexican, so I am 50% as such. And when I was younger and becoming aware of all these things, in a sense, it was easiest or like prideful to be able to say, "Ooh, I'm Irish too." And that, in and of itself is a very complex, kind of sad personal issue. But it never really crossed my mind. And I've heard of it before, but not in such detail. And I've never read from a woman's point of view. And obviously she's a fictional character. Just how you dealt with that, or how she was treated and how society dealt with it. Even at one point, there was a sickness going around amongst children, polio. And for a while, the health department, the city's health department, believed that the Italians had brought it to the United States. Preposterous, wouldn't you say? Anywho, so yes, that was very interesting. And then also in the story that takes place in the 1970s, at that point they deal with racism against African Americans and even sexism to the extent of like gender roles and sexual orientation. But it even goes into classism, obviously, just because of the time period. And it's just so thought-provoking. Truly, I feel like anyone in some way, shape, or form can relate to it, if nothing else than for the story itself. Beneath all these huge issues and themes that are being explored and discussed through the storyline, basically is just narrating through the lives of these women and how they are so deeply affected by their relationships, not only romantic relationships, although those certainly are in there and add to the story itself, but the relationships between their friends and their employers and their mothers. That's a huge one. I think that's what makes this such like a touching story for women of nearly all ages. And I think you should read it. Clearly, I do. Yeah. Well, thank you for listening to my opinion for 10 minutes. I hope you're all having a wonderful week. Sorry for the shaky camera. I am headed off to Oklahoma soon, and I literally can't wait. I have a guest post coming up on Saturday, Plates from Around the World, and then I will be back on Tuesday with a recap and all kinds of fun stories. And I will actually be able to show you my haircut because right now I was too lazy to do it yesterday. So this is just it slept on, but it's a little bit shorter, a little bit more layered. I got it done at Park on Madison. It's a very small boutique salon that I wouldn't have known about / been able to afford, but my mother is incredibly thoughtful and bought me like a living social deal. So I got like conditioning treatment and my hair, oh my gosh, you could feel it. So soft. The stylist did an amazing job and I am very happy with it. So yeah, that is all. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.